channel where I talk about the film versions of books. Today, I'm going to be reviewing and chatting about the cult classic, which is 1971's Harold and Maude. I have also done a book review of the book by Colin Higgins, so if you would like to know my thoughts on the book, I have a spoiler-free book review, so I've left the links in the description as well as on the screen, so check those out. I have been totally forgetting to put summaries of these movies in the videos. I'm gonna start summarizing the films so that you can get better ideas on what the movies are actually about. Sorry about that, I'm an idiot. Harold and Maude is a quirky little story about a boy named Harold. He's 19 years old and he's very obsessed with death. He loves faking suicides to really shock his mother, who is kind of this Richie, all up in her head kind of person. He also enjoys going to strangers' funerals and drives a hearse and all sorts of crazy stuff. Then there is Maude, who is a 79-year-old woman who recklessly lives her life to the fullest. She loves to borrow cars, and she loves to just do all sorts of antics like create inventions and paint and all sorts of fun and wacky insanity. And these two characters meet, and through their meeting it kind of changes Harold's viewpoint on life and what he should be really caring about instead of his obsession with death. On my blog I do a little segment called Must See Movie Monday, where I basically talk about a movie each week that I think people should see by sheer level of my own opinion. But you know, my suggestions of movies to see, and I listed Harold and Maude as one of those movies, so technically I've reviewed this movie already, but since I wrote that review I have actually read the book now, so I can actually give you guys a better book to screen comparison. And also there were a few ideas that I just wanted to expand upon, so I'm excited to tell you guys my extra thoughts. So in terms of the amount of book content that actually ended up in the movie Harold and Maude, there is about 99% of the book in the film. There's just most of the dialogue in there. All the scenes almost make it in there. The only things that they edited out in terms of the story were really small, like inky, tiny scenes with really tiny characters that kind of in the big scheme are what Maude would call incidental but not elemental to the story. But there are nods to those scenes in there. Rightly, the film focuses on the main characters, such as obviously Harold and Maude, and Harold's relationship also with his mother and with his uncle, and those really important relationships in the story that really bring the story to life. I think the reason the movie has such a strong ability to stay close to the book is because it was produced and adapted in screenplay by Colin Higgins, who actually wrote the novel. And usually when the writer of your screenplay is the writer also of the novel, it's very hard to screw that up. One thing that I love about the movie is that the technical elements really do facilitate the story and help tell the story. I've been watching a lot of films very closely, and I've noticed that there is a really big difference between cinematography and editing that just looks nice, like it's not bad, it's just pretty, and the other side where it's good looking and the camera work and the editing really do tell the story. They're not just there. And I feel like Harold and Maude is one of the movies that does this really well. And it is also really excellent to me in terms of detail. You could tell that there was a lot of thought put into the costumes and the set design and making those things really express what the characters were about and what those things meant to the characters and showing a lot of things about the characters without telling you. The movie also has a really awesome and endearing soundtrack, and it's mostly songs that were written by Cat Stevens, such as that wacky little tune that I sing at the beginning of the book review. And if you want to sing out, sing out. And if you want to be free, be free. Oh, I literally think about this book or this movie and that song starts flowing out of my mouth. It is one of those films that I think has perfect songs written for it that fit the scenes that they're in, and they're not too literal though about it, but they really do fit the moment and the scene, and that just adds an extra emotional feeling that maybe you don't notice at first, but you subconsciously notice it, and then if you're really looking at it, you notice it. And I just love how this movie uses music. It's not all Cat Stevens songs. It does have a few classical pieces thrown in there, which I think is kind of cool, especially in the beginning. It really kind of shows that Harold is kind of in his zone. I don't know what else to call it. His zone. I feel like the casting in Harold and Maude could not be more perfect. All the actors look like the characters, and they, more importantly, feel like the characters. And now that I've read the book, it's like so great to see it even more expressed, because now you kind of know their thoughts and feelings if you read the book and then watch the movie. So it's kind of extra cool now, and I really see how well they casted it. I think it would also be kind of a weird movie to cast, because it is sort of a weird movie, and it does have a lot of qualities for an actor that an actor would have to do. It definitely requires of the actors that play Harold and Maude, which were Bud Cort and Ruth Gordon, for them to be serious when they need to be, but also be very kind of wacky and comedic as well. So you have to be able to do both. And also it requires of some of the supporting characters to be sort of comedic and campy without getting too campy, because you don't want it to look dumb. But they do just the right level of camp, because Harold's mom, a lot of the comedy comes from her ability to be so self-absorbed, and also his uncle is a little campy, obviously, because he is in the army, but he lost his arm, so he had to like make this machine on his arm so that he could salute. Yeah, it's kind of hard to do that and be able to make it so that the audience can take it seriously, and you totally do, in a comedic way, like the way you're supposed to. So, you know, it's great that the actors can pull off the serious comedic camp qualities. If you're like me, and you cannot resist a quirky romance, a quirky story, and a coming-of-age film, you too will probably like Harold and Maude. I can't resist those three things. So I am in love with it and have been for many, many years. So I hope you will watch it for sure so we can enjoy it together. So that's all, folks. I will see you later. Thank you for watching. Bye.